Hi guys, this is Michael from the Boardgames Chronicle. Welcome to another material in our strategic series for Cuba Libre. We discuss here the how to play elements of this game in the first video, and then detailed description of each and every faction. In the second video, we discussed about government. In the third video, we discussed about first insurgent faction that is July forces. Today we'll talk about Directorio. So without further delay, let us start to the historical background of this movement. Directorio, or when you use the full name Revolutionary Directorate, or DR in the game, is an anti-communist and anti-Batista resistance movement. Unlike other two factions which we described, so government and Castro, 26th of July, they do not want to alienate people to the government, which Castro yields to do, and they don't want the people to support the government, which government wants to. They want people to be neutral. So when we look at all our actions, movements, you will see that most of them, what Directorio is doing is trying to stay neutral. To be quite honest, the DR, Directorio, was a rebel student group. It was founded by Jose Antonio Echeverria. Actually, there will be event which we'll discuss later on this guy. Okay, let me try to get the zoom of this. Better. And this was not a one coherent group. Let's be honest. Oh, by the way, I see we are missing very guerrilla here, and they already start with very few of them. They were fighting both Batista, but also Castro. They were extremely vulnerable. You see they have some guerrillas here, but they can be quickly hit. So the truth is that while this insurgent faction starts in a very difficult position, they could be, at least at the beginning, a key ally, especially to the Castro, in order to overthrow the government, because nobody can take on government on their own. So this is the background for Directorio. Now let us jump to the heart of the Directorio mechanics. We'll talk about operations and specials. Later on, we'll also touch about the victory conditions, some special rules, strategic considerations, and also the events. Operations. Here is the list of operations, very nicely done on the player 8. They are in majority, the operations are exactly the same as for the Castro: rally, march, attack, terror. You can see that we are similar for 26th of July: rally, march, attack, terror. But what's the difference is the conditions in which they can be taken. So let's briefly go through them, because we went through those operations already in much details in previous videos. Rally, its main aim is to augment or recover friendly forces. And this is the most important part, which you will see very often: location neutral or passive, provinces or cities. Exactly. So what we need is for the province, for example, here, it's neutral or passive oppose, or eventually passive support. It means that this province, for example, does not actively support the Castro and does not actively support the government. These are the places where Directorio thrives and where they can make their decisions. Actually, we can show it pretty nicely on this example. Here, let me do it like this. These are the 5 states of support you can have in a province. For the 26th of July, so the communist insurgents, you need to be neutral, passive oppose, or active oppose in order to be able to do majority of your actions. For Directorio, you need to be passive support, neutral, or passive oppose. So you need to have province which is not aligned strongly with any of the main conflicting factions, that is communists and Batista. So just a visual representation how we can look at this. Now, let's have a look at the second operation. This is March. Let's finish the rally because I showed you only the location. So in this procedure, we place one guerrilla or replace two with a base. Exactly the same procedure like with the communists. If we have a base, instead, either place guerrillas up to population plus bases or flip all guerrillas underground. And here's the difference, because the communists have twice population and twice bases. That means they can much quickly master the army. Directorio would be slower. Let's do the example. Let's assume we have such situation. A rally of Directorio in this place will place 1, 2 guerrillas. Rally of 26th of July in this place will place 2 times 1 plus 2 times 1, 4 guerrillas. That shows the difference how quickly the communists can amass their troops. The second operation will be, of course, March. So we move guerrillas, and this is exactly the same as in case of communists. So 26th of July with a twist about the destination. So we pay 1 resource per destination, city, province, economic center 0. We move guerrillas into adjacent spaces if destination has support or is economic center, and if moving guerrillas plus cubes where exceeds 3, activate guerrillas. So what's the difference from communists? In case of communists, was if destination has support or EC, exactly. So this is similar, like 26th of July. If there is a support, people who are there supporting government will tell that something is going on, and possibly such guerrillas will be uncovered. Let's try to do the move from here to here. If we move this Directorio guerrilla, because first of all we have support here, and second of all the number of pieces is exceeding 3, we would need to flip it that way. So it's not wise to go to the cities where there is government support and enough troops and police to spot the guerrillas. On the other hand, this city, Santiago de Cuba, is vulnerable for entry by the guerrillas because there is no support there. So they can infiltrate into the city without being spotted. The third operation is, of course, attack, which allows elimination of enemy forces. Any space where we have guerrillas and enemy, we pay 1 resource per space selected. What happens? We activate all guerrillas, roll a die. If it's equal or less than the number of guerrillas, we remove 2 pieces. First of all, it will be the cubes or other guerrillas, and only then it will be bases. If we roll a very good roll like 1, we will place 1 guerrilla. And if we killed troop, police, or guerrilla with cash, we will take it. This is exactly the same like 26th of July. No changes. Pretty straightforward. Terror, similar to 26th of July, but with a slightly different change of support. We neutralize support or economic activity. It's in any spaces with underground guerrillas, so we need to be underground, and we pay 1 resource per city or province, and as usually in economical centers, it's 0. We activate 1 guerrilla in each space we selected. If it's province or city, we add terror marker and shift support opposition 1 level towards neutral. This is the difference from 26th of July because it goes towards active opposition. See? Yes. If sabotage economic center, place sabotage. So let's look at, for example, Havana. This would be good example of what we can do. So Any spaces with underground guerrillas. Like here, we can do the terror. It costs 1 resource per city or province. We activate the guerrilla in this space. If province or city, we add a terror marker. Yes. And we shift support opposition 1 level towards neutral. And that's a huge problem now for the government. Of course, being government, the first thing you would do is to remove those Directorio guys, sweep and assault them. But if you do not do it, they can do such a nasty thing. If it would be in unsabotaged economic center, of course, like here, we would put sabotage marker. Pretty similar to what we have with 26th of July, but Directorio moves support towards neutral, not toward opposition. Now, what makes each and every faction unique are their special activities, and this is where the beauty of asymmetric warfare shines. Let's see what kind of activities Directorio has. First of all, they have subvert. This is the way for the Directorio to earn resources. As you remember, the way to earn resources by the other insurgent faction was kidnap. They were gaining the resources by kidnap, which was accompanying terror. The subvert, maximum 1 space, can accompany rally or march. They earn resources and or neutralize the province support or opposition. So we have 2 positive things. We not only earn money, we also can influence the support in or opposition in directions we need. It can be done with rally and or march, as I said. It can be also in any DR controlled provinces. No, sorry. We need to have control in order to get the money. We add the selected province population value to the directory resources and set the space to neutral. Very nice, because let's see, we can do subvert here, of course, with march. Let's assume we are marching here, and doing the subvert will get 1 resource, and we'll remove this passive oppose from here. Of course, it's much easier to earn in those larger provinces like Oriente, where you have 2 population. Forget about Havana with 6, because there will be usually enough troops and police to do anything there. Let's follow the examples. Now we have ambush. Ambush is similar to what we have with 26th of July. It ensures attack success. Normally, we need to roll a die and see if we roll less than the number of guerrillas we use. Here, we have automatic success, and we activate only 1 guerrilla. And on top of this, we place a directory of guerrilla. Example, probably the best way to show it. Let us assume that we would like to attack here, because the government sent some forces, and we already managed to do the rally. Yeah, rally, because 1 base and 1 population. Now we have operation and special. We choose attack and ambush. What happens? We activate 1 guerrilla. We automatically inflict 2 casualties. And we are adding 1 more guerrilla. It's just like rolling 1. In other words, you can say that ambush gives you a roll of 1. That's equivalent to what we did on the attack. Pretty powerful, can be very deadly. Last but not least, another way to get rid of your opponents is to assassinate them. We eliminate enemy units, and it can only accompany terror. This is similar to like kidnap was the only special ability which can accompany terror. By the way, kidnap was giving the money. Infiltrate was changing the unit to your faction. In this case, here we are getting the money, and here we are getting rid of enemies. This is, with terror, a space selected for terror operation where directory guerrillas outnumber the police. The same rule like with kidnap. Yeah, it also has to exit the police. Just showing you the differences between both insurgent factions, because I think this is also interesting comparison. What we do: remove any one enemy piece from the space or close one casino there. Take any cash remove. So this is really important, that you can also close casinos of the mob, of the mafia with this assassinate. And that will be all operations and activities. As you can see, Directorio has pretty interesting set of them. Not necessarily, it to some extent follows what 26th of July has, but it has very interesting subtleties which make for a completely different play, of course. Now, let us have a look at the victory conditions. For Directorio to win, the Directorio controlled population plus Directorio basis has to exceed 9. Seemingly, this is probably the lowest threshold any of the factions has to achieve, but believe me, this is difficult, especially in the face of a fact where Directorio starts. If you look at the start of the Directorio, they have one guerrilla here, and they have two guerrillas here. So what happens usually at the beginning is that government pretty quickly sweeps those and eliminates those guerrillas. And here with one guerrilla, it's a very long process of developing yourself. You need to rally additional guerrilla. Then you need to change this to the base. Then you again do the rally. It's long process. It's time-consuming process. And what is worst, it's resource-consuming process. And the starting resources for Directory are not too large, like 5. So you really have a tough beginnings. Still, it's possible to have 4 bases on the map, and then you need to add to this like 6 population. For example, this is one of the key provinces for which usually Directorio and 26th of July clash. So this is difficult to pass on this. Another area where Directorio spreads: Las Villas, hard to tackle, especially when government builds the base, but those spaces here could be seized. Of course, as in every coin game, this is a game of opportunity. You grab it whenever it shows up, and if you don't do it, you will not win. So this is how Directorio wins. Now, regarding special rules about Directorio, during the phase of propaganda, it will be here in support. We got experts backing. What does it mean? That Directorio during this phase may free rally in one space with neither active support nor active opposition. So it has to be passive or neutral, and it cannot be controlled by any faction other than Directorio. So that way, each propaganda, you will be able to get some troops. So whenever you start the game, as soon as possible, build a base, probably much quicker with the event. So already during the first propaganda, you will be able to free rally. That's a good thing, and that's really helping them to develop. Now, I think this is time to discuss a little about the events for Directorio. They have some pretty cool events, and you can learn also a lot of history from those events. The first event I have for you, let me grab the zoom, should be okay, is of course Echeverria. And we have 2 versions of this event. Near miss attempt on dictator's life. Place 2, DR guerrillas anywhere, Havana to neutral, DR to eligible. A really cool event. You quickly get 2 guerrillas, which you can change to base. You have Havana to neutral, so you really hit the Havana hard, and because of neutral, you will be able to, of course, execute other actions there. And of course, being eligible is always cool. the shadow part of the event is not so nice, so you want to do everything what's possible to prevent it, although removing 2DR pieces and DR resources by free. Usually when I'm having option to have operation and special, I would not be playing this against Directorio. It's loss of time. Then we have something pretty cool. One of the insurgent capabilities is Morgan. It's US commander, and what does it allow for? It allows DR guerrillas march 2 spaces. It's really, really cool because normally all the guerrillas move just like 1 space. They are very slow. All of the guerrillas, both communist, Directorio, but also syndicate. It's only government who has airlift and transportation. And this would really allow the Directorio to spread quickly on the map. Another event I would like to draw your attention to is Escapade. Yacht brings fighters, place a DR guerrilla and base in either Camugene province or Oriente. Those provinces are here, and believe me, if you can put a base here and guerrilla here, that's a no-brainer. You can then get the money from here, it's population 2, and you can do really nice rally. So this event, if you are able to get him early in the game, you can set up Directorio very nicely. If you see this, don't hesitate to grab it and even pass waiting for this. The fourth event I would like to draw your attention to are defections. It's a simple event which allows to grow your forces pretty quickly in a space already occupied by your pieces and was of enemy. You replace 2 of enemy guerrillas or cubes with your guerrillas or cubes. Usually you find yourself outnumbered, maybe not by cartel, by syndicate, but by 26th of July or government. This could switch the power balance in the province pretty quickly. On the other hand, what's really helpful here too is the fact that for the 2 guerrillas, you would be able to build a base. So this is also pretty cool. That will be all for Directorio. To sum up, this is completely different insurgent faction from 26th of July, although it copies a lot of Castro's faction operations and some of the special activities. What they want to do is for the people to be passive, to be neutral, passive. They don't like the provinces where there is opposition, active opposition or active support. They are good at assassination. They are really good at also getting the money by subvert. What they have at the beginning is a very peculiar and very weak start. So you need time to gain tempo, but this rally, every propaganda or free rally also helps them. They win by controlling the provinces, not hearts and minds. They are not so much for the support or opposition. They are much more for the control of areas. Usually at the beginning, they need to align themselves with 26th of July, but later on they can work on themselves. Fun faction to play, but you need patience to achieve good results with it. Okay guys, that's everything for today. If you liked this video, please give a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like this, kindly please subscribe. Every subscription is important for such a small content creator like the Boardgames Chronicle. Also, if you have any comments and questions and remarks, or maybe you would like to point any errors which I could make during this presentation, please let me know in the section below the video. Once again, Cuba Libre, fantastic game, coin game, second part coin series, which we discussed today. Stay tuned for the last strategic material. It will be the 5th one about syndicate and special things, special actions, and pretty interesting gameplay of this mob-driven faction. Thank you for today, and bye.